Alright, today we are going to be looking at reteaching lesson 1 and 2. So looking at statistics, finding measures of center, which is looking at the middle, the center of data, and measures of variation, which is looking at how varied, how spread out, or how close the data is. So this example is what we're going to use to find all of these. This should say 12 students at Hawthorne Middle South were asked how many push-ups they can do. Find the measures of center and variation for the data set. So first, looking at measures of center, we are going to find the mean. I'm just going to highlight that there so you can see that that's what we're looking for here. Okay. You can use, Miss Einer made a cheat sheet. We posted it on Canvas that will tell you just the different vocabulary words and the definitions and how to find them. We've kind of listed it here for you too, though. So the mean, the first step is we are going to add up all the numbers in the data set. So you can do that in the calculator, but I'm just going to write it all out here so you can see. So we're adding 10 plus 17 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 21 plus 17 plus 17 plus 20 plus 20 plus 18 plus 17. So we're going to take this sum. I'm going to add in my calculator 10 plus 17 plus 15 plus 17 plus 13 plus 21 plus 17 plus 17 plus 20 plus 20 plus 18 plus 17. I get a sum of 202. So we add up all the numbers, and then the next thing that we do is we divide by the number of values in the data set. So either where we corrected it, we can see there's 12 students, or you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're taking our 202, dividing it by 12 values, and we get 16.83 repeating. So I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, which is just 16 and 8 tenths, 16.8. Okay? So that's finding the mean. The mode. I think of mode, it's a 4-letter word, starts with MO. You are looking for the value or values that occur the most often. So not just any number that repeats, the number that repeats the most often. It's possible to have more than one answer, and it's also to have an answer of none or no mode. So in this one, we're just looking at what repeats the most often. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 17s. That's probably going to be hard to beat. The only other number that I see that repeats is 20, but there's only 2 of them. So the one that occurs the most often is 17. And then the last one, the median. So for the median, the most important thing is that we need to put it in numerical order, least to greatest. And then we're going to find the number that's smack dab in the middle. So think about it. If we were, standing in order for heights, if Michael Jordan just happened to be in the middle of the data, we're like, oh, he's the middle value. He's the center of our heights. Well, that wouldn't make sense, right? He would be on the end. He wouldn't be in the middle because he's too tall. So we have to put an order from least to greatest. Something to remember is if there's an even amount of data values, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on, there will be 2 middle values, and we need to find the mean of those 2 values. So first, let's just put these in order. While I'm doing that, I'm going to cross them off up here so that I don't make mistakes, so you're just not going to be able to see it as I'm doing that. So 10, crossing it off. Next is 13, crossing it off. Next is 15, crossing it off. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 17s. Next up is 18. Then we have 2 20s. And then 21. We put the lines there for you, so if you have a blank line, that means you did something wrong, or if you have something, you don't have enough lines, you did something wrong too. So once we put it in order from least to greatest, then we are going to go through and we are going to cross off, okay? So we are going to cross off lowest. I'm going to do it this way. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. We always have to pair a lowest and a highest. Lowest, highest. If I crossed off this lowest, I'd have to cross off this highest and nothing's left. So both of these values are in the middle. Okay? So remember, we said if there's an even amount of data values, there's going to be 2 numbers in the middle. In this instance, the numbers are the same, so that tells us the median is going to be 17. But if they're different, you can add them up and divide them by 2, because there's 2 values to find the mean, which would give you the same value, a median of 17. So that's your measures of center. Let's look at measures of variation using the same data. So normally it's all on one sheet. So what we said for the median is we're going to copy from above because we've already calculated that, right? So for basically all of our measures of variations, we still need it in order. So I'm going to just copy the work that we already had. So I'm going to just rewrite what the order was. 10, 13, 15. Then we had 5 17s, and 18, 2 20s, and 21. Okay? And again, remember, for our median, I'm just going to copy what we had, which we crossed off. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest, lowest, highest. We had these 2 values in the middle, which told us our median was 17. Okay? So, what happens now to find our Q1 and our Q3? Since there's 2 values in the middle, we are drawing a line down the middle of those 2 values because we want the bottom half and the top half. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values on, 6 values on the bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values on the top. When I'm crossing these off, I like to go in the opposite order. So for the Q1, we are just looking at these bottom values, okay? For Q1, and I'm just going to highlight it here, we are just looking at these values in the bottom half, okay? So we are crossing off in the opposite direction. So I'm crossing lowest, highest. This 17 here is our highest. Lowest, highest. If I crossed off 15, I would also have to cross off 17. So both of these values are in the middle, okay? What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to rewrite it here where Miss Eider had it. So we had our bottom half, 10, 13, 15, 17, and 17. And one more 17, sorry. Okay, so that was the bottom half of our data. So just so you can see it in both ways. So you can do it in that same line here, or we can do it down here where we're crossing off. Lowest, highest. Lowest, highest. We have these 2 values in the middle, which is what I circled up there. When we have 2 values in the middle, remember, we have to add them together and divide by 2, because we're going to find the average of those 2. 15 plus 17 is 32, which we divide by 2 to get 16. So our Q1 is 16. And if you think logically, what number is in between 15 and 17? The number 16. Okay? So for our third quartile, we are looking at the top half of the data. So for Q1, we looked at the bottom half. For Q3, we are looking at this top half here. So I'm going to show it written up here, and I'm going to rewrite it down here. So 17, 17, 18, 20, 20, 21. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So you could either cross it off up here. Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, and you'd have these two numbers in the middle. Same thing down here. Okay? Lowest, highest, lowest, highest, and these two values in the middle. I'm going to highlight that again so it matches with that top half. Okay? Again, when we have two numbers in the middle, we need to find the average of them. So 18 plus 20, divide that by 2. 18 plus 20 is 38. 38 divided by 2 is 19. So our Q3 is 19, which again makes sense. What number is in between 18 and 20? It's 19. Our interquartile range, which we just call the IQR because that's kind of complicated to say. We are just doing our Q3, our third quartile, minus our Q1. We're finding out what is the distance, what is the difference between our Q1 and Q3. So I'm taking my bigger one, the Q3, 19, minus the smaller one, or Q1 of 16. 19 minus 16 shows there is a difference of 3 between those two values. And then our range, luckily, even if you did everything else wrong, this is completely different. So you should be able to get this right. The range is our highest number, which in this problem is 21, minus the lowest number, which in this case is 10. So 21 minus 10 gives a range of 11.